Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Zhou Zhou frowned slightly after reading it. This resource requirement was getting more and more ridiculous. If he hadn't consecutively conquered several racial-level factions and taken over their territory and racial resources, he really wouldn't have been able to gather the resources needed. Even so, he was still not strong enough facing the 200 million units of space-time elemental gems. He looked at his king's treasure box. He now had 33 million units of time elemental gems and 16 million units of space elemental gems left after spending 60 million units of time elemental gems and 60 million units of space elemental gems. There were only 49 million units in total. There was still a huge gap from 200 million units of space-time elemental gems. We have to continue the war. I hope the remaining 93 high-level Scarlet Empires can provide me with enough time and space elemental gems to upgrade my territory. Zhou Zhou thought. From Wutu's information, these Scarlet factions had come to the High Continent not only to invade, but also to occupy the territory of the High Continent and take root in this land to develop the Scarlet factions. In order to develop their forces, they would definitely carry a large amount of materials needed to establish and develop their territory. There might be the space-time elemental gemstones that he needed inside. He shook his head and stopped thinking. He flew to the gate of summoning and spent 680 trillion units of basic materials, 5,000 legendary tier mist cores, and 3,000 low-tier deity-level elementary grade divine crystals to upgrade the gate of summoning to the low-tier deity-level intermediate grade. Congratulations, your gate of summoning has been upgraded to a diamond-tier intermediate grade building. You can summon 200,000 subjects every day. You will summon 3,000 professionals every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the unique title of the race, Glory of the Pioneer 9, you can summon 328,9500 subjects every day. You will summon 3,010 professionals every day. After reading it, Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. The number of subjects summoned by the low-tier deity-level intermediate grade gate of summoning was 365,500. After being buffed by the Glory of the Pioneer 9, it directly increased by 9 times, becoming 3,289,500 people. While millions of new subjects were nothing to the current Blazing Sun Kingdom, who wouldn't like freebies? Not to mention that among these 3 million new subjects, there were 10 low-tier deity-level intermediate grade god spirits. Then, he looked at the upgrade requirements of the Gate of Summoning. Construction upgrade: 500 trillion units of wood, 500 trillion units of fine sand, 500 trillion units of metal, 500 trillion units of stone, 10,000 divine crystals of low-tier deity level advanced grade. Territory level upgraded to low-tier deity level advanced grade. Upgrading the Gate of Summoning is still very simple after reaching the low-tier deity level. As expected, this Gate of Summoning is a bonus for upgrading the territory. Zhou Zhou did not mind. Then, he took a deep breath and opened the requirements for the Advanced Kingdom to upgrade to the Beginner Empire. He swept his gaze around. After confirming that he had met all his needs, he no longer hesitated. He took out a Beginner Empire token and recited upgrade in his mind. The next second, Empire notification. Lord of the Blazing Sun, you have used the Beginner Empire token. Do you wish to officially upgrade your territory from the Lord's territory of the Advanced Kingdom to the Lord's territory of the Beginner Empire? Yes, Zhou Zhou immediately said. Do you wish to use the Blazing Sun Kingdom, high-tier deity-level regional territory, as your Beginner Empire's capital region? Yes. Please set your kingdom name. The Blazing Sun Empire. Prompt. Your Lord's territory, Advanced Kingdom. Blazing Sun Kingdom is in the process of upgrading. Prompt. Level up successful. Congratulations, your Advanced Kingdom Lord territory. Blazing Sun Kingdom has officially been promoted to a Beginner Empire Lord territory, the Blazing Sun Empire. Your World Channel ID has changed. Your current World Channel ID is Blazing Sun Empire, Lord of the Blazing Sun. Right on the heels of that, an announcement that knotted the hearts of the lords of all races appeared. Congratulations, your high-level Lord territory, Blazing Sun Kingdom, has officially been promoted to a beginner Empire Lord territory, Blazing Sun Empire. Lord of all races announcement. Congratulations to the human race, Lord of the Blazing Sun. Lord of all races announcement. Congratulations to the human race, Lord of the Blazing Sun. Zhou Zhou smiled. He had waited for a long time, prepared for a long time, and finally realized this goal that seemed unreachable at the beginning. My empire is finally established. At this moment, the text notification appeared again. Beginner Empire Hint 1. After your advanced kingdom is promoted to an empire, your reputation will spread throughout a wider area. More life forms will gradually know of your kingdom's existence. Please be prepared to handle the subsequent kingdom affairs. Beginner Empire Hint 2. Your advanced kingdom channel has officially been upgraded to Beginner Empire Channel. It can accommodate up to 100 trillion subjects. Beginner Empire Hint 3. You have the authority to publish the Empire announcement. After publishing the Empire announcement, all subjects in the Empire channel will be informed of the news you released immediately. Beginner Empire Hint 4. Your affiliated kingdom function has officially been upgraded to subsidiary kingdom function. You can recruit up to 1,000 beginner kingdom lord factions, 500 intermediate kingdom factions, and 100 advanced kingdom factions to become your subsidiary kingdoms. Subsidiary kingdoms are not allowed to attack the suzerain kingdom. They have to accept the orders of the suzerain kingdom and advance and retreat with the suzerain kingdom. The suzerain kingdom has to support the development of the subsidiary kingdoms within its ability to protect the subsidiary kingdoms from external enemies. There is a parent-child spatial teleportation array between the main kingdom and the affiliated kingdom. It can be used for free regardless of distance. The main kingdom has the right to unilaterally close the parent-child spatial teleportation array. After reading it, the smile on Zhou Zhou's face widened. Then, he began to check the rewards and was the first to open the mythical tier treasure chest. He saw a 1-meter-long golden statue of an old man holding a long ruler lying quietly inside. Zhou Zhou gazed at it. Building name: Statue of the God of Architecture and Industry. Construction level: True God Tier Advanced Grade. Construction effect: Mythical Architect. Spend 100 low-tier deity level elementary grade divine crystals to obtain the master tier profession inheritance of the God of Construction and Industry, Kurodo. You can change from a legendary tier advanced grade architect to a divine kingdom life profession, Mythical Architect. Architecture description: Building, a device that exists to understand civilization, Mythical tier architect, Kurodo. Do you want to place it? Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up and showed excitement. It was actually the inheritance of the architect's clergy profession advancement. Moreover, it was a master god tier profession inheritance. He had been waiting for this inheritance for a long time. Zhou Zhou looked at the class change statue excitedly. With the statue of the God of Architecture and Industry, his territory would be able to independently nurture god-tier architectural talents in the future. Furthermore, this class change statue was the class change statue of a master god-tier advanced grade. It represented the mythical tier architect inheritance contained in him. It was the life profession inheritance of a master god-tier advanced grade. A mythical tier architect who had obtained this legacy could advance all the way to the master god-tier advanced grade as long as he had enough potential. There were indeed a few god-tier architects from the people of foreign races among the god spirits under his command. Some of the god-tier buildings, race buildings, and the only buildings in the territory were built by these highly skilled god-tier architects. However, even so, their legacy could not be passed on to others, so his territory could not automatically nurture god-tier construction talents. Moreover, foreigners were not as good as what he could nurture. Coupled with the fact that his territory had already become a god tier and had stepped into the low-tier deity level intermediate grade, many buildings in his territory needed to be upgraded to the god tier level to satisfy the needs of those god tier profession talents. In addition, the soldiers' barracks, drill grounds, training grounds, and other venues also needed to be upgraded to the god tier level. If he could use this class change statue to nurture a large number of mythical tier architects, it would greatly relieve the pressure on his territory's god tier construction needs. This statue of the God of Architecture and Industry came at the right time. Zhou Zhou was overjoyed. This class change statue came as soon as he upgraded his territory. How timely! Zhou Zhou immediately flew out of the shrine with the class change statue and arrived at an empty space in the blazing Sun Kingdom. He placed it there. There was a loud bang. A golden Elder One statue that was 1,000,000 meters tall appeared on the ground of the blazing Sun Kingdom. Such a huge commotion immediately caused the entire blazing Sun Kingdom to rumble. Many subjects were alarmed as they ran out of their houses and looked up at the tall mythical tier architect statue. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he sent a voice transmission to Zheng Yuanqi and Zhao Changshou. Then, he told them about the situation of the statue. It's actually a god-tier class change statue. Mythical tier architect. The two of them exclaimed at the same time, especially Zhao Changshou. As a legendary tier advanced grade architect, he seemed to have seen the dawn of his advancement. He looked at the statue with a burning gaze. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly and smiled faintly. Prime Minister, Uncle Zhao, the two of you can arrange for the advancement of our empire's legendary advanced grade architect. Yes, Your Majesty. The two of them recovered from their surprise and hurriedly said respectfully in unison. Zhou Zhou nodded. Your Majesty, can I try to change my class now? Zhao Changshou said. Old Zhao, why are you so anxious? Since His Majesty has already approved it, don't you want to change your profession whenever you want later? Zheng Yuanqi chuckled. Zhou Zhou also laughed. He could tell that Zheng Yuanqi was joking. However, the two of them could also tell that Zhao Changshou was indeed incoherent with excitement as he faced the path of his professional advancement, or rather, his dream of having a brand new path and future. I've embarrassed myself in front of His Majesty and the Prime Minister. Zhao Changshou came back to his senses and said embarrassedly, What's so ridiculous about that? Zhou Zhou chuckled. Go ahead if you want to change your occupation. This emperor also wants to see what a mythical tier architect looks like. Now that he had been promoted to the ruler of the empire, he was already qualified to address himself as this emperor. The common language of the High Continent would naturally tell the living beings of the High Continent and the myriad races of the heavens what the phrase, this emperor, meant. When he became the Lord of the Divine Kingdom, he could take another step forward and address himself as this divine being. Thank you, Your Majesty, Zhao Changshou said excitedly. Then, he turned into a stream of light and soared in front of the statue of the god of architecture and industry. He closed his eyes and communicated with the majestic statue. Suddenly, the statue of the god of architecture and industry suddenly emitted a resplendent golden light that illuminated the entire blazing Sun Kingdom. Right on the heels of that, a golden stream of light soared out from between the eyebrows of the monument of the god of architecture and industry and merged into Zhao Changshou's body. Zhao Changshou's body trembled and began to fuse with this inheritance power. After a while, Zhao Changshou's body shook, and a newborn aura of divine power spread in all directions with him as the center. A faint golden phantom emerged behind him. It was Kuroto, the monument of the god of architecture and industry. Kuroto's phantom slowly disappeared after Zhao Changshou opened his eyes. Zhao Changshou didn't know what happened behind him. He sensed his incomparably powerful divine body and the inheritance knowledge of the mythical tier architect that had suddenly emerged in his mind. He finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. He could not help but cry again as he laughed. It was an emotional cry, a carefree cry. He had finally realized his dream. Zhao Changshou did not cry too much. He quickly composed himself and returned to Zhou Zhou. Your Majesty, I'm finally a mythical tier architect. This mythical tier architect's professional legacy is very top-notch. I feel that even the other god-tier architect professions recorded in the myriad races inheritance tower are far inferior to this mythical tier architect profession legacy. Zhao Changshou reported enthusiastically and respectfully. When Zheng Yuanqi heard this, he could not help but feel happy for his old friend. Zhou Zhou grinned when he heard that. This mythical tier architect was a top-notch architect life profession legacy of a master god tier advanced grade. Even in the myriad worlds, it was very difficult to find an inheritance comparable to it. Naturally, it was not something that ordinary god spirit level life profession inheritances, true god tiers, and most master god-tier architect professions could compare to. He opened Zhao Changshou's personal information and took a look. Then, he could not help but click his tongue. This was because he had discovered a large number of low-tier, mid-tier deity level, and even high-tier deity level god-tier construction skills in Zhao Changshou's skill list. For example, the god-tier blacksmith shop, the god-tier tailor shop, the god-tier carpenter shop, the god-tier divine artifact forging room, the god-tier miracle item shop, the god-tier pet equipment shop, and a series of other building skills. Zhao Changshou had all the building blueprints that had emerged in the mythical tier building blueprint treasure chest, low-tier deity level elementary grade, as a mythical tier architect. Zhao Changshou even had the building blueprint skills that were not in the mythical tier building blueprint treasure chest, low-tier deity level elementary grade. Moreover, there were also some auxiliary skills that assisted true god-tier architects in building true god-tier buildings, which meant Zhao Changshou was only a low-tier deity level elementary grade architect, but he had the ability to participate in the construction if it was a high-tier deity level or true god tier level building. This was one of the two terrifying characteristics of mythical tier architects. They could be built at a higher level. As for its other profession characteristic, it was also the most unique profession characteristic of mythical tier architects. It was that mythical tier architects could give one or even a few mythical tier architectural characteristics to the buildings that he led. For example, the most common residential buildings in the territory. If a mythical tier architect were to build it with all their might, it could be bestowed with mythical tier architectural characteristics such as peacefulness, pleasure with many children, healthy and longevity, and family harmony. If the building built by a mythical tier architect was a god tier building, the mythical tier architect's characteristics would be enhanced. For example, the effect of having many children was the subjects living in this residence have a chance to increase the potential level of unborn children and descendants by 1 when they give birth to children. Families with children and descendants are more likely to encounter lucky things when they go out. The more children they have, the more often they encounter lucky things. Health longevity, maximum lifespan plus 100%. It will not be easily affected by diseases. Even if it accidentally falls ill, it can self-heal in a short period of time. The effects of the other mythical tier building characteristics were equally astonishing. Zhou Zhou browsed through it, and increasingly felt that this mythical tier architect's abilities were too powerful. As expected of a treasure from a mythical tier treasure chest, Zhou Zhou did not stay for long after that. After handing over the development of the statue of the god of architecture and industry to Zheng Yuanqi and Zhao Changshou, he returned to the shrine alone and opened the novice empire treasure chest. He saw a yellowish-brown ancient map scroll lying quietly in the newbie empire treasure chest. Zhou Zhou picked it up and took a look. Then, his divine body trembled and he grinned. What day is it today? He actually gave me such a treasure. Treasure name, Map of the High Continent. Treasure grade, Special. Treasure effect. This is a map of the distribution of the territory of all the lord factions in the entire High Continent. On it is the distribution of the territory of the various lord factions, basic faction information, terrain distribution, location information of natural disasters, civilization style, and other basic information. It can still be considered a precious map, even though it is simple. Moreover, it can update the changes in the territory of the lords and races in the High Continent in real time. It can allow the living beings with it to grasp the latest changes in the territory of the High Continent. Treasure Introduction. A precious map of the entire continent. It contains information on the distribution of the lords' factions and the basic geographical information. It is an indispensable treasure for the lords' factions to conquer the various lords' factions in the continent. With this map of the entire continent, it will be much more convenient to choose a war target in the future. Wu Tu's Heavenly Map Army won't have to do the heavy work of mapping the terrain. I can concentrate on more detailed intelligence exploration. Zhou Zhou looked at the map in his hand and was very satisfied. Without another word, he directly sent this map to Wen Ye's database, and then Wen Ye sent it to many generals of the Blazing Sun Kingdom, including Wu Tu. Then, he ignored the reactions of Wu Tu and the other generals and continued to look at the other rewards. After the newbie Empire treasure chest was the announcement reward of 1,000 reputation rating and 10 mythical reputation rating talents. Zhou Zhou ignored the reputation rating talents and looked at the 10 mythical reputation rating talents. His eyes lit up. These were 10 mythical reputation ratings talents. Coupled with the 3 mythical reputation ratings talents rewarded previously, it was a total of 13 mythical reputation ratings talents. It represented 13 mythical reputation rating talents like Guo Qiao, Qi Xiantian, Yuan Song, and Ning Ning, who would arrive in his territory tomorrow. Coupled with the results of the Supreme Conquest, Zhou Zhou's lips curled up slightly. From the looks of it, a large number of talents would come to his territory tomorrow. He imagined what might happen the next day and stopped thinking about it. He gazed at the announcement below. Among them, after the Advanced Kingdom channel was upgraded to the Beginner Empire channel, the channel capacity of 1 billion subjects suddenly increased exponentially. It was naturally a great thing for the current beginner subjects. The 1 million trillion channel limit was enough for all the current Blazing Sun Kingdom subjects to join. Furthermore, they did not have to worry about the channel being full for the time being. As for the upgrade of the affiliated kingdom function to a subsidiary kingdom function, Zhou Zhou valued it the most. Previously, he could only accept 50 beginner kingdoms and 10 intermediate kingdoms as his affiliated kingdoms. These spots had amplified by dozens of times, reaching the level of 1,000 beginner kingdoms, 500 intermediate kingdoms, and 100 advanced kingdoms. The beginner empire was indeed not the same as the advanced kingdom. The difference was too great. After Zhou Zhou sighed, he gazed at the subsidiary kingdoms and fell into deep thought. With so many spots for the affiliated kingdoms, I can take this opportunity to unify all the lords of Cerulean Planet under my command and become my true subordinates. Also, we can allocate some subsidiary kingdom slots to the people of foreign races. Recently, I've found Zheng Yuanqi. There are many people of foreign races who want to join the Blazing Sun Kingdom. I can use these affiliated kingdom slots and use the Lord talent of the peaceful times to make some people of foreign races who want to submit truly submit. He muttered to himself. In that case, there were still too few slots for these subsidiary kingdoms. It was not enough for those people of foreign races who wanted to submit. If he wanted more people of foreign races to surrender without a fight and directly join the Blazing Sun Kingdom, he still needed more subsidiary kingdom slots. Of course, if these people of foreign races were close to the Blazing Sun Kingdom's territory, Zhou Zhou wouldn't even need a subsidiary kingdom spot. He could just lead his troops to attack them. It would be convenient and effective. However, these people of foreign races were all very far away from the territory of the Blazing Sun Kingdom. It would take a long time to reach their territory even if they used Galaxy. Zhou Zhou was not interested in spending a lot of effort to control the territory of the people of foreign races that were too far away. After all, it was beyond his reach. At this time, more places for subsidiary kingdoms would be very useful. Thinking of this, he immediately unveiled the information about the beginner empire and verified the requirements for the beginner empire to be upgraded to an intermediate grade empire. If it was an intermediate grade empire, there would definitely be more subsidiary kingdom slots. Kingdom name, Blazing Sun Empire. King, Blazing Sun Emperor. Kingdom level, Beginner Empire. Kingdom flag, all stars cover the sun. Kingdom army, Blazing Sun Army, high-tier deity level. Monster Army, high-tier deity level. Dragon God Army, high-tier deity level. Myriad Race Army, mid-tier deity level. Heavenly Map Army, low-tier deity level. Homeland Defense Army, extraordinary tier. Prerequisites to advance to the intermediate grade empire. Territory level to the mid-tier deity level elementary grade. Capital city region level to the mid-tier deity level 1000 mid. Tier deity level elementary divine crystals. Conquer 3 of the Crimson Overlord's beginner empire 0/3. Conquer 2 beginner empires that are not under the Crimson Overlord 0/2. Conquer any intermediate lord faction and possess its mid-tier deity level empire token 0 to 1. 100,000 independent regional territories, 5,000 racial heroes, 20 deity worshippers of their own race. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up after reading it. He could easily satisfy the other conditions. Only the territory needed some time to advance to the mid-tier deity level elementary grade. Perhaps it wouldn't take long for him to advance to an intermediate grade empire. Zhou Zhou closed the information interface and flew out of the shrine. He floated in the starry sky of the divine kingdom and looked at his shrine. This low-tier deity level intermediate grade shrine looked majestic and magnificent. Looking from afar, one could feel an overwhelming nomological pressure surrounding the shrine. It was intimidating. Divine clouds of various nomological laws enveloped the divine kingdom, emitting various nomological divine lights. Earth, water, thunder, light, ain, darkness, fire, grass, battle formation, blazing sun. There were all kinds of laws here. If there were gods who walked the corresponding path of laws, under the illumination of this divine light, it would even be easier for them to comprehend their own laws. In the center of these divine clouds of laws stood a nine-colored cloud. He emitted a mysterious nomological aura. Under the envelopment of this mysterious nomological aura, ordinary god spirits could sense the endless profundities of nomological laws. He even felt like he was in a supreme domain. Only gods who walked the path of the Lord's laws could sense that the origin of the nine-colored clouds contained extremely profound mysteries of the Lord's laws. This nine-colored cloud was the Lord's nomological divine cloud. Zhou Zhou looked at the cloud for a while and smiled in satisfaction. He could tell that the nomological clouds could assist he in comprehending the Lord's laws. Towards such a divine object that could assist one in comprehending laws, he naturally felt that the more the merrier. As for the current shrine, Zhou Zhou was also very satisfied. It was not that he had never seen a shrine at the level of a god spirit. Zhou Zhou had even seen a shrine at the level of a divine kingdom. However, it was not an exaggeration to say that. He looked at his shrine and felt that his shrine was more magnificent than the shrines of the divine kingdom lords. Perhaps this was the uniqueness of Lord Law God Spirit Lords. Then, he watched for a while longer before reluctantly returning to the shrine. He also sent someone to call Mu Gu, Zheng Fuguei, and Carol Moeli over. A moment later, the three of them came over. Zhou Zhou's gaze immediately landed on Mu Gu. At this moment, Mu Gu's figure was much more solid than before. Zhou Zhou quickly thought of the reason. It seemed that after the upgrade of the territory and the upgrade of the Scarlet Brood Mother, Mu Gu had become stronger and could show a more real divine body. "Greetings, Your Majesty," the three of them said respectfully. "Tell me about your growth." Zhou Zhou said expectantly. This time, he had upgraded his territory by 3 levels in a row, and he had even upgraded his generals from non-god tier to god tier. The lord talents of the three of them should have been greatly enhanced, right? "Yes, Your Majesty," the three of them said respectfully. Then, Mu Gu was the first to stand up. "Your Majesty, the Scarlet Brood Mother I'm currently in has been upgraded from legendary tier intermediate grade to low tier deity level intermediate grade. The number of Mist Mothers evolved from the low-tier deity level intermediate grade Scarlet Brood Mother has increased from 15,000 to 50,000. Each Mist Mother's Mist Mother world can now nurture 80 million fog monsters. 50,000 Mist Mothers can nurture a total of 4 trillion fog monsters. Other than that, the quality and efficiency of cultivating high-quality Scarlet Heirs has also increased. Currently, I can at most nurture a Scarlet God Spirit below the high-tier deity level. This process will take about 3 days. If I want to nurture a Scarlet Descendant of a mid-tier deity level advanced grade, it will only take about a day. Zhou Zhou was shocked. He could nurture 4 trillion fog monsters in a day. If he used it to create the Violent Storm Spirit and the Yellow Talisman Dao Soldier, he would obtain nearly 20 trillion troops in a day. He couldn't help but click his tongue in surprise. Nearly 20 trillion troops in a day. The total number of troops under him, together with the total number of troops of the Star Alliance, was only close to 10 trillion. It was only half of the total number of soldiers created by the Scarlet Brood Mother. He was right. The Lord talent of the Scarlet Brood Mother had indeed been strengthened to an astonishing extent as his territory entered the God tier level. After a while, he finally calmed down from the news. He thought for an instant and said, "Among your 50,000 Mist Mothers, leave 10,000 to specially nurture the iron-eating bear and the withered tree. As for the other 40,000 mist mothers, 20,000 will be used to nurture the violent storm demon spirit, and the other 20,000 will be used to nurture the yellow talisman Dao soldier. As for the mechanical fear falcon, we won't for the moment being. The loots provided by the mechanical fear falcon were nothing more than flying equipment, fear falcon wings, and reconnaissance equipment, fear falcon radar. With Zhou Zhou's current technology, he could make these two things himself without the need to create them through the Scarlet Broodmother. In that case, he would not waste the precious cultivation quota of the Scarlet Broodmother to create these two things. As for the iron-eating bear and the withered tree, the former could produce iron-eating bear pet eggs and minerals. Before there was a better substitute for monsters, Zhou Zhou did not plan to replace it. As a fog monster that could produce tree core gems that could lower the level requirement of equipment, Zhou Zhou would definitely not give up. Otherwise, his soldiers wouldn't be able to use high-level equipment. They could only use equipment of the same level. That would reduce the combat power of their soldiers. The class change certificate and recruitment books for 40,000 mist mothers to create the violent storm spirit and the yellow talisman Dao soldier were enough. With 40,000 mist mothers, he could obtain 4.8 trillion yellow talisman Dao soldier recruitment books, 4.8 trillion yellow talisman Dao soldier class change certificate, 4.8 trillion violent storm spirit recruitment books, and 4.8 trillion violent storm spirit class change certificate tomorrow. If they used both the recruitment books and the class change certificate, he would have an additional 19.2 trillion units tomorrow. That was 19.2 trillion troops. It was equivalent to recruiting the total military strength of 2 junior Divine Kingdom factions in a day. If the lords and races in the outside world heard this, their jaws would probably drop. At this thought, a faint smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. All right, this emperor understands. Just like before, we don't need to nurture the Scarlet God spirit for the moment being. We just need to specialize in nurturing ordinary ranch monsters. He stated to Mu Gu. Yes, Your Majesty. Gu stated dutifully before he retreated. Then, Zheng Fugui walked out. Your Majesty. Now, the number of mysterious merchant has increased from 10 million to 200 million after the territory upgraded to low tier deity level intermediate grade. The number of carriages transporting goods has also increased to 200 million. All of us mysterious merchants' strength has also increased to low-tier deity level intermediate grade. In addition, every mysterious merchant's dimensional ring has been officially upgraded to a small world ring. It can accommodate an entire small world's worth of goods. In the end, our treasure hunting ability has also improved again. In the future, when we go out to do business, we should be able to bring back at least 10 treasures at a time. There's one last improvement. We received an invitation to the enigmatic auction after our mysterious merchant team advanced to God tier. With this invitation, Your Majesty can participate in an auction held by the headquarters of our mysterious merchant chamber of commerce with our mysterious merchant. As he spoke, he flipped his right palm and saw a black invitation letter appear in his palm. There was a deep purple flower carved on the front of the black invitation letter. Below the flower was a sea of stars, and above the sea of stars was a golden sun. It looked beautiful and mysterious. Oh, Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. Mysterious auction? Is it hosted by the headquarters of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce? He summoned the invitation letter from Zheng Fugui's hand and looked at it thoughtfully. As the owner of the mysterious merchant Lord Talent, he naturally knew that the mysterious merchant faction under him was only a part of the legendary mysterious merchant chamber of commerce. In fact, it was just an inconspicuous part. As a merchant faction personally established by the Supreme Will, it traversed the myriad worlds and even the Supreme Continent. It was even famous among the Divine Kingdom Lord factions. The mysterious Chamber of Commerce could be said to be the #1 merchant group in the Infinite Realms. Logically speaking, the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce would not be dominated by any lord's faction. It was only because of his lord talent that he was able to forcibly separate a portion of the mysterious merchant faction to submit as his subordinates. Now that his territory had been upgraded to God tier, the mysterious caravan's influence had finally been upgraded to the extent that it had attracted the attention of the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce? This mysterious auction invitation letter was proof. Perhaps when I raise my territory to the level of high-tier deity level, true god tier, or even master god tier, or supreme god realm, I can interfere or even enter the mysterious merchant chamber of commerce and make this chamber of commerce faction that spans the myriad worlds work for me. Zhou Zhou was ambitious. When will the mysterious auction begin? He stopped thinking and asked Zheng Fugui. 3 days later. Your Majesty, this mysterious auction only happens once every 10,000 years. Countless rare treasures will appear. Even Master God tier, Supreme God realm artifacts, and even will-level treasures might appear. Your Majesty, if there's nothing important, you must participate. Zheng Fugui was afraid that His Majesty wouldn't know the importance of the mysterious auction, so he couldn't help but remind him. Zhou Zhou was shocked. He didn't care about the Master God tier divine artifact. However, he had never seen a supreme divine artifact or even a treasure at the level of willpower. He had only heard of it in the bloodline inheritance. This mysterious auction would actually be auctioned? As expected of the Supreme Will's money bag, the #1 merchant faction in the infinite worlds. His foundation was indeed not to be underestimated. This emperor will participate, Zhou Zhou said seriously. Zheng Fugui nodded. Zhou Zhou was deep in thought. He even felt a little unconfident. He wondered if the wealth he had accumulated so far was enough to buy something from the mysterious auction. At this moment, Zheng Fugui had already retreated. Carol Moeli walked out. Your Majesty, after the territory was upgraded to the low-tier deity level intermediate grade, our life arc already has 500 billion clergymen, 500 billion priests, 500 billion nuns, and 5,000 billion life holy knights. These clergymen are enough to complete war-healing missions and revive wars with billions of troops. Also, currently, there are 1,000 high-level divine duty members of the life arc God Spirit level. Every one of them has mastered the resurrection spells, and they can resurrect the deities of our country alone. As for my strength, I've already advanced to the intermediate grade true God tier. With my attainments in the Great Resurrection spell and my status as the Pope, I can revive any existence below the Master God tier. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. There were more and more God spirits under him. He needed more high-level clergy members who had mastered the Great Resurrection spell to be in charge of the corresponding resurrection matters. These 1,000 God Spirit-level high-level clergy members came at the right time. Then, Zhou Zhou chatted with them for a while before letting the three of them leave. Not long after the three of them left, Wu Tu and Zheng Yuanqi came to see him again. Zhou Zhou saw them. What is it? He asked. Your Majesty, I just received an important piece of information. Wu Tu's expression was pale and solemn as he said, just now, my intelligence personnel told me that AUS, the ruler of the chaotic Scarlet Empire, has decided to join forces with all the Scarlet forces that have invaded the High Continent to come to our Blazing Sun Empire and destroy it. What? Zhou Zhou did not react. Zheng Yuanqi, who was beside him, cried out in surprise. Then, his face immediately turned pale. As the Prime Minister of the Blazing Sun Empire, he innately knew about these Scarlet factions that had invaded the High Continent. Furthermore, he also knew that these Scarlet factions that had invaded the High Continent were extremely ambitious. Their goal was the entire High Continent, so they had delivered quite a number of troops and God spirits. Previously, he had pondered that as long as these Scarlet forces didn't attack their Sun Kingdom together, their Sun Kingdom wouldn't encounter too much danger. However, he never expected that these Scarlet factions would suddenly change their targets and work together to attack them. With such a robust Scarlet army, even if their forces increased by 10 or 100 times, they would probably not be a match for the other party, right? When Zhou Zhou heard Wu Tu's words, he could not help but be shocked. Are you sure this is true? Zhou Zhou forced himself to calm down and asked. When I first heard this news, I couldn't believe that it was true. However, after repeated inspection, I've already confirmed that this news is true. Wu Tu said. How many troops do they have? How long will it take for them to arrive at this emperor's territory? Zhou Zhou asked again. According to my estimation, after the other party unites more than 50,000 forces of the Crimson Kingdom and more than 1,000,000 forces of the Crimson Kingdom, there should be more than 5,000 true God tiers, more than 33 million God spirits, and more than 8,000 trillion Scarlet soldiers. Furthermore, the other party has a true God tier flying warship. The day after tomorrow at the latest, they will be able to join forces with all the Scarlet factions and come to our Blazing Sun Kingdom's territory. Wu Tu said truthfully. Zheng Yuanqi fell silent. Zhou Zhou could not help but frown. This military strength, even if he was given another month to develop, it was impossible to reach it. Furthermore, with such troops, his 10,000 spirit saint would not be effective. This was an enemy that was absolutely impossible to fight against. An idea immediately appeared in his mind. He definitely could not fight the other party. Whether it was a head-on attack or a roundabout sneak attack, it did not work. In the face of absolute strength, any strategy was useless. Even if he used all the battle resurrection scrolls and revived his soldiers 10 times or more, he would still be unable to resist these Scarlet factions. What do I do? Zhou Zhou forced himself to remain calm and commenced to think. He quickly pondered of a treasure. The territory relocation order. This was one of the racial-level treasures he had obtained from the heaven-hidden race. It could transfer the territory within the territory to other places, or even to another world. However, after some thought, Zhou Zhou gave up on this method. From the looks of the current situation, he had to leave the High Continent if he wanted to avoid the attacks of AUS and the other Scarlet forces. However, leaving the High Continent meant losing the protection of the Supreme Agreement. When the time came, he and the Blazing Sun Empire would definitely be ambushed or even surrounded by Master God-tier level experts. Even though Zhou Zhou had the protection of the Master God-tier God Spirit, he still felt that it wasn't safe to just have one Master God-tier God Spirit. If an accident happened, the losses would be unacceptable to him. It might even be better to fight guerrilla warfare with these Scarlet forces on the High Continent. This would not do. He had to change his method. Zhou Zhou commenced to rack his brains faced with this unprecedented crisis. He pondered for a while, and an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. Then, he couldn't get rid of this idea. The idea was, asking for help from the Supreme Will? Is it feasible? Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and pondered. Zhou Zhou did not hesitate for too long. Actually, there was no time to hesitate or make unnecessary choices. Therefore, he decided to give it a try. You guys go out for a while. This emperor will have a solution. Zhou Zhou said to Wu Tu and Zheng Yuanqi. Yes, your majesty. Wu Tu and Zheng Yuanqi heaved a sigh of relief. In their hearts, his majesty was an invincible existence. No matter what kind of predicament it was in front of his majesty, it would be easily resolved by his majesty. Even though this crisis was unprecedented, under his majesty's leadership, they believed that they would definitely be able to survive this crisis without any mishaps. The two of them did not say anything else and left the shrine hall. Zhou Zhou looked at the empty shrine hall and took a deep breath. He stood up and respectfully said to the empty air in front of him, Lord of the Blazing Sun requests an audience with Lord Supreme Will. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. There was no reaction from the empty hall. Nothing magical had happened. Zhou Zhou's heart sank. Is there still no way for the Supreme Will to hear my call with the attention I've accumulated in front of the Supreme Will in my previous activities? Big boss, I'm your #1 fighter and #1 underling. I've done both meritorious and hard work. Give me some reaction when I call out to you. Otherwise, I would have turned to the Crimson Overlord. Zhou Zhou could not help but complain in his heart. Following that, he held back the urge to ridicule and continued respectfully. Lord Supreme Will, now that the Crimson Overlord has invaded the High Continent, the Scarlet forces suddenly want to collectively attack my Blazing Sun Empire. They want to destroy me and my lord's faction in one fell swoop. I really can't deal with this situation. Lord Supreme Will, please descend and help your subordinate lord survive this crisis. Zhou Zhou addressed himself as a subordinate. However, there was still no reaction from the Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou did not give up and continued to say all kinds of good things. He knew that he was doing something that the lords of the other races did not even dare to think about or do. However, compared to the current crisis, asking the Supreme Will for help was the best, most effective, and most direct solution to the crisis that he had thought of. As for his pride, he was about to die, so to hell with his pride. After an unknown period of time, Lord Supreme Will, open your big eyes. Your lord is at his wit's end. Before he could continue, boom, he suddenly disappeared. In a special space that was raining heavily, Zhou Zhou suddenly appeared. Drops of rain landed on him. Every drop of rain transformed into a large amount of nomological comprehension and fused into his soul, increasing his nomological foundation. Faced with such a strange and familiar nomological rain phenomenon, how could Zhou Zhou not know where he was? The Supreme Domain. I've been teleported to the Supreme Domain. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself in surprise. At this moment, a pure white light suddenly appeared in the sky, then slowly condensed into a pure white eye. The pure white eye looked at him quietly. Zhou Zhou immediately felt an endless pressure descend on him, making him not daring to offend him. He took a deep breath and respectfully said, Lord of the Blazing Sun. Greetings, Lord Supreme Will. I already know about you. A neutral and indifferent voice that was difficult to distinguish between male and female resounded throughout the entire Supreme Domain. Lord Supreme Will, I'm not someone who will ask for help easily. It's just that the danger I'm facing this time is far beyond my ability and exceeds the limit of the test I should undergo as a lord of all races. That's why I have no choice but to ask you for help. What do you want? The Supreme Will asked. I want to lead all the Lord factions participating in the King of 10,000 Kings and the tribulation of 10,000 races. Zhou Zhou had a plan in mind and immediately said, The Supreme Will. Good kid, you're ambitious enough to want the overall command of this event, right? Impossible. The Supreme Will replied. After a moment of silence, it said, However, I can let you command all the lords of all races. In addition, I can let the members of the racial factions of the Supreme Alliance deal with your crisis together so that you won't be alone and helpless. As for the rest, it's up to you. Thank you, Lord Supreme Will. Zhou Zhou was overjoyed and immediately said. He didn't expect his initial wish to be fulfilled by the Supreme Will. He was already very satisfied to have such an outcome. I'm not done yet. The Supreme Will continued. I've never set up a special event content for a lord of all races alone. So as a price, you have to do something else. What is it? Zhou Zhou was stunned. Destroy the remaining 93 high-level Scarlet Empires led by the Chaos Scarlet Empire and end this King of 10,000 Kings event early, within the next 3 days. 3 days? Do you want me to destroy them all alone? Zhou Zhou asked. What if the 93 high-level Scarlet Empire factions are attacked by the racial factions of the Supreme Alliance midway? That's your problem. I won't stop them from doing anything. If they destroy the high-level Scarlet Empire, the racial forces of the Supreme Alliance will also obtain benefits that belong to them after all. How to solve this problem is up to you. Does that mean that my operation will be considered a failure if I missed out even one high-level Scarlet Empire? Zhou Zhou asked. That's right. The Supreme Will said. Zhou Zhou frowned deeply. This had been really difficult. It had been already difficult enough to deal with those high-level Scarlet forces. Coupled with the existence of competitors, the factors involved were even more uncontrollable. Lord Supreme Will you tell the members of the racial factions of the Supreme Alliance about this? Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and asked. No. Zhou Zhou heaved a sigh of relief. If the members of the Supreme Will's racial faction did not know about this, then he might be able to secretly complete these 93 targets. I understand. Thank you for your help, Lord Supreme Will. I will remember it. Zhou Zhou said respectfully. It's better to destroy a few more powerful Scarlet forces than saying these vacant words. Do it. I'm looking forward to your performance. The Divine Will finished speaking. Zhou Zhou felt his vision turn black. In the next second, he realized that he had returned to the shrine. Before he could return to his senses, an indifferent voice that had been difficult to distinguish between a man and a woman resounded in the ears of all the lords and races. The Divine Law Empire, the imperial capital of heavenly law. In the Imperial Palace, a true god tier of the original spirit race, who had been at the true god tier level, was sitting high on the throne. Below him were the ministers of the divine law empire from various races. At this moment, in the main hall, a minister had been reporting the information he had just received. According to reliable reports, the Chaos Scarlet Empire has already led all the forces of the Crimson Kingdom and the Scarlet Empire in this invasion to the territory of the human Lord of the Blazing Sun. They want to obliterate the Blazing Sun Empire, which has just been promoted to an Empire Tier Lord. As soon as these words were spoken, all the ministers immediately discussed in shock. Is AUS crazy? He actually disregarded that person's orders and changed the target of his attack. What did the Lord of the Blazing Sun do to make AUS do such a big thing to change the target of the war? That's understandable. I remember that the information we received recorded that eliminating the Lord of the Blazing Sun was also one of the targets of AUS's invasion. However, I didn't expect them to place such importance on this target. They actually want to launch an all-out attack on the Lord of the Blazing Sun. What a joke. AUS is also a brainless fellow. Ha ha ha, isn't this a good thing? This lord from the human race stole our true lord's limelight for so long and made the true lord the second in command for so long. Now, retribution has finally arrived. That's right. Our true lord will be able to regain his position as the number one of all races after the Lord of the Blazing Sun is annihilated by AUS. The ministers discussed animatedly, all of them quite optimistic about this matter. The master of the divine law empire on the emperor's throne also thought so. The true lords of the original spirit race should have been ranked first among the lords of all races, but they had always been ranked second because of this human lord. This made the original spirit race feel aggrieved for a long time, but due to the supreme will and agreement, they didn't dare to attack the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Now, there was finally hope of returning to first place. We're not the only ones who received this news. The lords of the other races and races should have already received this news. Even if they don't know for the time being, they will know when the Chaos Scarlet Empire begins to take action. Let's wait for the destruction of the Blazing Sun Empire before taking the opportunity to attack AUS and the others. The Lord of the Divine Law Empire smiled. Your Majesty is wise. Your Majesty is wise. I think so too. The ministers all agreed. However, before they could be happy for long, a voice that resounded throughout all the races and lords of all races suddenly sounded. After hearing it, they were first stunned, and their faces revealed expressions of disbelief. In the end, their expressions gradually turned ugly. D****. The Lord of the Divine Law Empire crushed the handle of his throne and said angrily, "Is it really as the rumors say? Is the Lord of the Blazing Sun a candidate personally chosen by the Supreme Will?" When the ministers below saw how angry their emperor was, none of them said anything, afraid that they would attract the firepower. King of 10,000 Kings / Tribulation of All Races Special Event Announcement from the High-Level Scarlet Empire. The Pillar of the Chaos Scarlet Empire. AUS will lead 57,062 forces of the Scarlet Empire and 1,262,605 forces of the Crimson Kingdom to jointly attack the territory of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. The sudden invasion war this time had exceeded the upper limit of the difficulty of the King of 10,000 Kings event for the lords of all races. In order to save the Lord of the Blazing Sun, who was threatened by the extremely high difficulty of the event, and to attack the Scarlet Invasion Force. From now on, all members of the racial factions of the Supreme Alliance would stop the invading Scarlet Invasion Force at all costs. If they discovered any slackers, they would be punished for activities that reduced the luck of their race. In addition, as the current number one on the faction points ranking of the lords of all races, the Lord of the Blazing Sun could temporarily command all the lords of all races without endangering their survival. The lords of all races also needed to cooperate with the Lord of the Blazing Sun to counterattack the invading Scarlet Invasion Force. During this special event, a portion of the Scarlet Fog monsters would be marked as key targets. After killing such targets, the lords of the various races would obtain additional faction points and other treasures. I hope that all the Lord of all races will perform actively in this event and achieve good results again. The announcement of the special event from the Supreme will quickly spread to all the lords of all races of the Supreme Alliance. When they found out about the content of this event, they were immediately stunned. There was only one thought left in his mind. What was the relationship between the Lord of the Blazing Sun and the Supreme Will? He actually created the Supreme, will personally proclaim the Lord of the Blazing Sun's activities just to save the so-called Lord of the Blazing Sun? There was a conspiracy. Many lords cursed in their hearts. However, they could only obediently accept the content of this event. They did not want to suffer the punishment of reducing the luck of their race after all. Once their race's luck was reduced, their clansmen might encounter unlucky things in future adventures. The probability of geniuses being born within their race decreased. The output of resources within their race's territory decreased. And if they were not careful, they would inexplicably provoke a powerful enemy for their race. The pondered of such consequences was unacceptable to them. The other races that desired to invest in the Lord of the Blazing Sun became even more restless after seeing the content of the event. They didn't expect that this Lord of the Blazing Sun would be so highly regarded by the Supreme Will. This created it even more valuable for them to invest. In the shrine, after Zhou Zhou saw the notification of the King of 10,000 Kings special event, he could not help but grin. This time, it was settled. I wouldn't have to bear so much war pressure with the racial forces of the Supreme Alliance holding the fort while secretly completing the goal that the Supreme Will had set for me. Not bad, not bad. At this moment, he suddenly realized that a new channel had appeared next to the Lord of All Races World channel. Lord of All Races channel. Zhou Zhou opened it and realized that the channel was already filled with lords of all races. None of them were non-lords. He was the only channel administrator of this channel. At this moment, these lords of all races also realized that they had suddenly joined this channel and were chatting with each other in the common language of the High Continent. Elf race, Lord of Holy Light. How did I enter this channel for no reason? I haven't agreed yet. Goblin race, Bloodlust Lord. Are you an idiot? Do they require your permission? Can't you understand? The Supreme will personally pulled us in. Fire Phoenix God race. I just saw that the Lord of the Blazing Sun is the only administrator of this channel. This channel should have been personally created by the Supreme Will to make it easier for the Lord of the Blazing Sun to command us. Is the Lord of the Blazing Sun around? What do you plan to arrange for us to do? Water race, Lazy Lord. Boss Common People's Regal. Can I not participate? I am very weak. Many lords of all races were worried about their future in the next few days and tagged Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou typed as well. Human Lord of the Blazing Sun. Channel Administrator, don't worry, everyone. The main force of this special event is still the racial faction of the Supreme Alliance. There shouldn't be a chance for us to take action, so I won't make any arrangements for everyone for the time being. Human Lord of the Blazing Sun. Channel Administrator, everyone. Just focus on your development. Zhou Zhou stopped talking after typing. To tell the truth, the enemies that he was going to face next were all high-level forces of the Scarlet Empire. These weak lords of all races really couldn't help much. Instead, they might drag him down. They might even snatch his faction points behind his back. Hence, Zhou Zhou had no intention of bringing them along. He would be done for if he acted recklessly. When the lords saw Zhou Zhou's words, some of them heaved a sigh of relief. They were really afraid that the number one lord of all races would use lords of all races who had no choice but to gather together as suicide squads. Then, they would not be able to reason even if they died. Even though the Supreme Will had already stated that the Lord of the Blazing Sun wanted to command them without endangering their life and death, how could they be sure of war? It was naturally better not to take risks if possible. The true lords, Great One lords, heaven-chasing lords, and other top lords hidden among the lords had completely different thoughts when they heard what Zhou Zhou said. They had seen the focused kill target mentioned in the special event announcement. Killing these priority targets would give him additional faction points and other treasures. For the sake of these rewards alone, they could not afford not to participate in this special event. He couldn't fight for first place, but he could at least fight for second place. If he was lucky and killed a few more special targets, such as AUS, he might be able to surpass the Lord of the Blazing Sun and become the #1 in the faction. Would he not order them to participate in the battle? Then they would have to participate in the battle. As for Zhou Zhou, although he could not see through the thoughts of these lords through the chat channel, he could roughly guess what they were thinking. However, he didn't mind. The key target mentioned by the Supreme was most likely the target of the Eye of the Heaven's Anger. With the Eye of the Heaven's Anger secret law, he could directly find his target. In addition, his military strength was extremely strong. It could be said that he had too many advantages over these lords of the myriad races. If he couldn't be far ahead of them, then he might as well retire from the position of lord and be an ordinary person. Then, he turned off the lord channel and sent someone to call Wu Tu and Zheng Yuanqi back. At the same time, he also sent someone to call Bai Yun and the other generals of the army, as well as the ministers of the Blazing Sun Army over. Soon, all the officials and generals gathered and stood respectfully in the hall. Zhou Zhou gave Wu Tu a look, and Wu Tu immediately understood what His Majesty meant. He took the initiative to step forward and tell everyone the truth about the Chaos Scarlet Empire, leading the Scarlet Empire to invade the Blazing Sun Empire. All the generals present were shocked when they heard this news. Even the usually boorish Guo Qiao had a solemn expression. The enemies they encountered this time could be said to be the most terrifying enemies they'd encountered since the birth of the Blazing Sun faction, and at the same time, they were the enemies with the greatest disparity in strength. Even the demon lords he encountered in the Novice Lord test were not as powerful as the enemies he encountered this time. Don't worry, everyone. This emperor has already thought of a solution and has already implemented it. The crisis this time has actually been mostly resolved from now on. When Zhou Zhou saw this scene, he did not keep them in suspense and said frankly. The generals and ministers were shocked when they heard this. No matter how hard they racked their brains, they could not think of a way for their emperor to solve the current dire situation. His Majesty actually had a solution to deal with such an enemy with such a huge difference in strength? They found it unbelievable, but because of the prestige that Zhou Zhou had accumulated, no one doubted him. They were just filled with curiosity. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he told her what he had just said. And after he finished speaking, all the generals and ministers present were even more shocked. He wanted the Supreme to set up a special event because of a Lord faction? Not to mention hearing about such a thing, they did not even dare to think about it. His Majesty is really fated. Zheng Yuanqi immediately stood up and said excitedly. The ministers were also extremely excited and agreed with what Zheng Yuanqi said. If His Majesty could invite the Supreme Will, what else could it be but the will of the heavens? Zhou Zhou waved his hand and did not mind. Was this destiny? What about AUS, who had already commanded all the Scarlet factions that had invaded the High Continent? The Son of Destiny? Zhou Zhou understood what was going on. If he had not taken the initiative to explain the situation to the Supreme Will might have really let him face our Scarlet Army alone and face the outcome of destruction. If he had not taken the initiative to explain the situation to the Supreme Will might have really let him face our Scarlet Army alone and face the outcome of destruction. He had to fight for everything himself. The situation is clear now. The Scarlet Army led by AUS will go against the racial forces of the Supreme Alliance. The two sides are the main force of the war. What we have to do is very simple. We have to wipe out the 93 high-level Scarlet Empires, including the Chaos Scarlet Empire, within these 3 days. Attention, it's annihilation. Don't let a single one go. If we let one go, we'll all lose. Therefore, within these 3 days, all of the manpower, material, and financial resources of the entire Radiant Sun Empire will have to serve the war of these 3 days. You can tell me if you have any thoughts. Zhou Zhou stated with a serious expression. Even though the Supreme didn't say what would happen if he couldn't do it. However, it was precisely because of the unknown that it was terrifying. Therefore, he had to complete the mission left to him by the Supreme Will. It was not only to obtain the event's obscure reward, but also to not be punished by the Supreme Will. Yes, Your Majesty. The generals and ministers stated in unison. They all recognized that this was the biggest crisis they had encountered since their territory was established. He had to give it his all. At this moment, Bai Yun was the first to step forward. Your Majesty, it's indeed possible for us to destroy these 93 high-level Scarlet Empires alone in 3 days, even if we don't rely on the help of outsiders. However, it is impossible for these high-level Scarlet Empires to leave the Scarlet forces under their command and put themselves in danger alone. I have two ideas. Number one, since time is tight, we have to fight day and night for the next 3 days. Not only do we have to fight during the day, but we also have to fight with all our might at night. Only then can we destroy these 93 high-level Scarlet Empires in 3 days. Number one, since time is tight, we have to fight day and night for the next 3 days. Not only do we have to fight during the day, but we also have to fight with all our might at night. Only then can we destroy these 93 high-level Scarlet Empires in 3 days. Therefore, I feel that there's no harm in luring these high-level Scarlet Empires out of the Scarlet Army so that they can break away from the large team and create an opportunity to fight. Guide? With what? Zhou Zhou asked. Only our main force. Bai Yun stated solemnly. If we don't use our main force as bait, the enemy's main general probably won't take any action and continue to advance towards our territory. If they enter the territory of our side and start a war again, even if we can obtain some advantageous conditions, it's very likely to cause irreparable losses. Furthermore, it's very likely that a large number of subjects will die in this sudden war. Thus, the war between us and the other party cannot be within our territory. It can only be fought outside our territory. I'm willing to be the main general of this bait operation and fight the enemy personally to attract the other party's main general. I'm willing to die as an apology if it doesn't work. After he finished speaking, the entire hall fell silent. The courage to lead her own army to face more than 50,000 high-level Crimson Kingdom forces and more than 1,000,000 Crimson Kingdom forces was not something ordinary people would have. Even though the people present were not ordinary life forms, they could not help but feel admiration after hearing Bai Yun's words. To Bai Yun, death was not even the most terrifying thing. Which civil servants and generals present dared to take the risk? Were they afraid to die? No. What they revered was the heavy responsibility on the shoulders of millions of soldiers' lives. However, Bai Yun has the courage. Furthermore, she also understood that the only person who could bear this responsibility was her, the Legion commander of the First Legion. Since she had accepted the power and status brought by this position, she had to bear the responsibility brought by this position. That was why she took on the responsibility. All right. Zhou Zhou looked at Bai Yun with a faint smile on his face and nodded slowly. This emperor agrees with your plan. If that's the case, I allow you to lead the army and use yourself as bait to lure the enemy. Feel free to ask if you have any requests before the war. This emperor will satisfy everything that can be satisfied. I have a request, Bai Yun said immediately. I hope your majesty can upgrade the galaxy. AUS and the other high-level Scarlet Empires should have higher-level warships. If the speed of the ships that the soldiers and god spirits are on is inferior to them, the bait's plan will probably become a joke in the eyes of the other party. If the speed of the ships that the soldiers and god spirits are on is inferior to them, the bait's plan will probably become a joke in the eyes of the other party. Zhou Zhou nodded without changing his expression. Even if Bai Yun did not say it, Zhou Zhou had originally planned to upgrade Galaxy. Galaxy was indeed unable to keep up with the times as a product of the Diamond Tier Lord talent. No one else. When His Majesty finishes upgrading the Galaxy, I can immediately lead the army to the location of AUS and the other Scarlet forces. Bai Yun said, Sure. Go and mobilize your troops with the generals and god spirits first. Zhou Zhou asked. Yes, your majesty. Bai Yun said respectfully. Then, she left with the generals. Zhou Zhou looked at Zheng Yuanqi. Prime Minister, gather all the resources in the country to cooperate with this war. Yes, your majesty. Zheng Yuanqi said respectfully. Wu Tuesday. Remember to share the information with the soldiers in real time. Zhou Zhou said to Wu Tu. Yes, your majesty. Wu Tu said respectfully. Then, the two of them left with the civil officials. Zhou Zhou was the only one left in the entire hall. Wenya. He suddenly spoke. Your majesty, I'm here. Wenya's gentle voice sounded. Are you ready? Zhou Zhou said. Next, this emperor will raise you to the highest level. I'm ready. There was a rare hint of solemnity in Wan Ye's gentle voice. All the data has been backed up. Even if I undergo a process of obliteration and recombination during my promotion, I can use the backup data to reconstruct my main body. Your Majesty, you don't have to worry. That's good. Zhou Zhou heaved a sigh of relief. He was afraid that Wan Ye would disappear during the advancement process and let another intelligent life form serve him in her place. Zhou Zhou was previously used to Wan Ye's existence and even treated her as his younger sister. He really didn't want to lose him, even if he had to pay a price for it. Then, he no longer hesitated. He directly took out 10 extraordinary tier Lord Talent crystal fragments and 1,110,000,000 green bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments and fused them into a mythical tier unique Lord Talent origin divine crystals. Then, he directly upgraded the diamond tier Lord Talent, gift of the Machina, to the mythical tier unique Lord Talent. Zhou Zhou stared at the new Lord Talent information. Lord Talent, Eternal Mothership, mythical tier, unique. Eternal Mothership. Your territory has a unique spaceship, the Eternal Mothership, that was personally built by the Machine God tier. It represents how highly the Machine God tier values you, and also represents the supreme friendship between the Machina race and you. Specific Talent Effect 1. The Eternal Mothership is the witness of your friendship with the Master God tier. Your diplomatic relationship with the Machina race has reached an eternal contract. Specific Talent Effect 2. The Eternal Mothership is the work of the Machine God tier. At the same time, it is also the highest scientific and technological crystallization of the machine race. He has reached the advanced grade of the Master God tier. Any machine life form who sees the Eternal Mothership will see the Machine God tier. He possessed the Master God tier Advanced Grade Boundless Realm function, the Master God Advanced Grade Energy Device, the Master God tier Advanced Grade 2. Directional Foil, the Master God Advanced Grade Origin Spear, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Defense, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Flying Speed, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Teleportation, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Detection and Anti-Reconnaissance Radar, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Space Invisibility, the Master God Advanced Grade Teleportation, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Space Traversal Function, the Master God tier Advanced Grade Space Traversal Function. Specific Talent Effect 3. The Eternal Mothership is powered by Master God tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystals. One Master God tier Advanced Grade Divine Crystal can allow the Eternal Mothership to operate at full power for 1 hour. After reading it, Zhou Zhou stared up at the sky. A black cosmic mothership with a diameter of 100 billion light years was silently floating above the shrine. He was completely black. Around him were 100,000 high tier deity level world-destroying cannons, 100 true god tier mechanical elvens, 20 high Lord Advanced Grade 2. Directional Foil, 10 high Lord Advanced God Origin Spears, and billions of war weapons below the level of gods. Other than that, on his huge body, there were also spaceships of various styles. Starry Night, Galaxy, and the extraordinary level spaceship Heaven Domain. Legendary level spaceship Under the Sky. High-tier deity level spaceship 1000-man Ultimate God. True God level spaceship Cosmos Emperor. Combat spaceships, production spaceships, research spaceships, life-saving spaceships, special troops spaceships. There were all kinds of spaceships. And beside these spaceships, there were corresponding spaceship manufacturing factories, spaceship repair factories, spaceship recycling factories, and other exclusive spaceship factories. Teams of mechanical life forms walked and flew around the Eternal Mother Machine. They were in charge of combat, cleaning, adjusting, repairing, transporting, and various other spaceship maintenance functions. Teams of mechanical life forms walked and flew around the Eternal Mother Machine. They were in charge of combat, cleaning, adjusting, repairing, transporting, and various other spaceship maintenance functions. Was this the hard work of the Master God tier? With this Eternal Mothership, he could create another Machina race, right? Your Majesty, a black light lit up from the Eternal Mothership and turned into a black stream of light. In the blink of an eye, it flew in front of Zhou Zhou and half knelt in front of him. He was more than 100 meters tall and exuded the aura of a true god tier. He had an exquisite and tall figure. He wore a black helmet that covered his eyes. He wore black silk gloves and had a sword hanging from his waist. He had 36,000 black mechanical wings on his back. His voice was gentle with a hint of coldness. Ultimate Elven Commander, Wunya. At your service, your majesty. Zhou Zhou looked at the mechanical elven in front of him, and a smile gradually appeared on his face. Wunya, you look good. He smiled. Wunya blushed and forced herself to remain calm. Thank you for your compliment, your majesty. What position does the ultimate elven commander hold? Zhou Zhou nodded and asked. The ultimate elven commander is a guard created by Father to protect the Machina race god spirit. As for me and the mechanical elven on the eternal mothership that I command, they were specially created by the master god tier to protect his majesty and the eternal mothership. Every mechanical elven has the strength of a true god tier. An ordinary mechanical elven has the strength of a true god tier elementary grade. A captain-level ultimate mechanical elven has the strength of an intermediate grade true god tier. As the ultimate elven commander who commands all the mechanical elvens, I have the strength of a true god tier advanced grade. Currently, there are a total of 90 ordinary mechanical elven guards, 9 ultimate mechanical elven guards, and this ultimate elven commander of mine on the eternal mothership. Our 100 mechanical elven can control more than half of the weapons on the eternal mothership. If you want to control all the weapons on the eternal mothership, you need to produce the corresponding war machine intelligent life forms. When you said respectfully, you're saying that this eternal mothership isn't complete. Zhou Zhou asked immediately. It was originally incomplete when you said truthfully. Normally speaking, as Lord Talent creations created by the Master God tier, we have to serve the lords of the Black Iron tier races who have just descended into this world. The Black Iron tier lords of the myriad races will definitely not be able to control the entire eternal mothership. They can only spend the mist core to buy the corresponding weapons, battleships, skill books, Machina race inheritances, and other things to increase their combat power to strengthen themselves bit by bit. When the lords of all races gradually grow up and have higher level mist cores, or even divine crystals, they can gradually unlock the weapons and battleship inheritances on the even stronger eternal mothership. Mechanical elves like us need true god-tier divine crystals to unlock and activate it. As for stronger two-way foils, origin spear, and other master god-tier weapons and inheritances, they require master god-tier divine crystals to unlock. Zhou Zhou frowned. Well, if a Black Iron tier lord could command a true god tier mechanical elven from the start and control a master god tier war weapon, then what was the point of the other lords? He could just surrender. Even Oust Lord Talent was far inferior to this. It was reasonable to use the mist core and higher level divine crystals as restrictions. He looked at Wunya and saw through his divine body. He landed at his core energy device. As expected, Wunya's core energy device was empty. There was not a single true god-tier advanced grade divine crystals. The reason why Wunya could still talk to him was because of the weak energy gathered by his energy-gathering device. This small amount of energy could not even unleash Wunya's true god-tier combat strength. It was already quite good for Wunya to be able to unleash yellow gold-tier combat strength. Then, Zhou Zhou thought of something, and a smile appeared on his face. Others might lack divine crystals, especially true god-tier divine crystals, and even master god-tier divine crystals. However, Zhou Zhou did not lack it. There were even more. This eternal mothership is like a tiger with wings for me. Zhou Zhou looked up at the majestic eternal mothership, his eyes shining. With this eternal mothership, he would have more confidence in destroying the 93 high-level Scarlet Empires. Are you still the highest AI on this eternal mothership? Zhou Zhou came back to his senses and asked. In the end, Wunya gave him a stunned answer. No, your majesty. Zhou Zhou furrowed his brow slightly. Then who is the highest authority AI on this eternal mothership? He asked. As a master god-tier level cosmic battleship, the eternal mothership can only be controlled by a master god-tier mechanical god spirit. Therefore, The highest authority intelligent life form on this eternal mothership is the supreme master god tier of the Machina race. A trace of consciousness. When you trailed off, Zhou Zhou, where did you learn to speak so loudly? He gazed at Wanya with a strange expression. Soon, he noticed the strange grin on Wanya's lips. This made him sigh. With the degeneration of the world, even my most obedient and adorable Wanya had learned to use words to tease me. However, even so, Zhou Zhou was still very shocked. Even a trace of consciousness was still a trace of Master God Tier's consciousness. Furthermore, it was a trace of consciousness from one of the 10 Master God Tiers. TSK. The 10 Master God Tiers will be my drivers. My God, this formation is maxed out. Other than these war machines, what other functions does this eternal mothership have? The eternal mothership has 4 functions. The first is the war function, including the war mechanical technological skill that I just mentioned. Secondly, there is the spaceship manufacturing function. The eternal mothership records and builds all the spaceship model manufacturing processes and corresponding manufacturing systems developed by the Machina tribe to date. From the smallest black iron tier flying spaceship to the largest true god tier battleship, Cosmos Emperor, all their manufacturing methods are recorded in the Inheritance Treasure Vault on the Cosmic Mothership. Their spaceship manufacturing factories and corresponding facilities are also set up on the Eternal Mothership and within his Boundless Realm. The Boundless Realm is an ultimate space technology created by the Master God Tier. It has infinite space inside. In theory, he can carry infinite matter and infinite spaceships. Most of the reserve resources of the Eternal Mothership are stored in the Boundless Realm. Thirdly, the God Creation Technology of the Eternal Mothership. The God Creation Technology Project has always been one of the highest research projects of the Machina race. The Mechanical Elven is one of the results of the God Creation Project. At this point, Zhou Zhou suddenly interrupted and asked, "Do you know what level of mechanical God spirit the Master God Tier can create?" Master God Tier. When you answered truthfully, Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. The Master God Tier itself was only at the Master God Tier level, but it was already able to create a Master God Tier mechanical God spirit. No wonder he was one of the top 10 Master God Tiers. The Machina tribe under him was also one of the top races in the myriad worlds. Just the continuous production of Master God Tier mechanical God spirits was enough to make countless races shrink back. Go on. Zhou Zhou waved his hand. Yes, Your Majesty. When you nodded, and explained the last function of the Eternal Mothership. The last main function of the Eternal Mothership is the rapid transport function. The Eternal Mothership is carrying the Machina race's most advanced technology, the Eternal Engine. Through the Eternal Engine, it enters the dark universe and travels at a maximum speed of 1 trillion light years per second. I can fly across a middle world in a second. Furthermore, if we use teleportation, even Time Master God Tier and Space Master God Tier won't be able to catch up to the speed of the Eternal Mothership. Restrictions are also impossible. Because Your Excellency, the Machina God Tier, personally found 10 Time Master God Tiers and Space Master God Tiers to test the results. Zhou Zhou nodded.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.